Welcome to this tutorial brought to you by River City Graphics. Today I'll be showing you how to use the tile list component in Flash. So to get started, I'm going to create an ActionScript 3 document. Then I'm going to go to File, Save As, and save this very quickly so that some of the linkage later on in the ActionScript works correctly. So I'm going to say tile list component. Alright, I'm going to save that. Then I'm going to go to Window, Components, and I'm going to drag out the tile list component and also the UI loader component. So for the tile list, I'm going to drag that down to the bottom, and then I'm going to go to Properties and make it 500 pixels by 85 pixels in height. Then I'm going to give it an instance name of tile list. Okay, so I'm going to position that towards the bottom. Then I'm going to grab my UI loader, and I'm going to get the transform tool, put the reference point in the top left. Then I'm just going to position this up in the corner and drag it out to about the same width as the tile list. So now that I've done that, I'm going to just position a little more. Alright, and I'm going to give it an instance name now of my loader. Alright, so now we're ready to start actually coding this out. So I'm going to open up the actions, and then the first thing we need to do is add some items to our tile list. So I'm going to say add item, or I'm going to say tile list first. Dot add item, and the I on item needs to be capital. Then an open parenthesis, open curly bracket. Then we're going to type label, colon, 2 quotes, comma, space source. Then another colon, 2 more quotes. Then we need to have a close curly bracket, close parenthesis, semicolon. Now inside this label, we're going to basically put whatever we want. For the source, we're going to have an image, and then we want whatever we want it to say for that image, we need to put on the label. And that'll show, basically, we're going to have 4 images in our tile list, and then at the bottom of each little image, there's going to be a space for that label to display. So we're going to type in the label there. So we're going to say snow for this one because that's what's in the picture. And then the source on this one, I have it on my desktop, and then we're going to say stock photos / snow.jpg. Alright, for the source, I have mine on my desktop, but you can actually have a link from online if you wanted to link it to the JPEG online. You could do that, but I'm just doing it from my desktop. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's also an option. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it 3 times for each image. Then for this one, I'm just going to say tiger. Then for this one, pier. And for this one, hiker. I'm going to make sure that these correspond with that. Hiker, pier, and then tiger. Alright, so then I have that done. The next thing we need to do is actually set the column height or the column width and the row height and the amount of columns and rows. So we're going to first just hit enter a couple times, and then I'm going to say tile list dot column height, or column width, sorry. Column width, and that's with a capital W. Space equals space, and then we're going to make it 125. And the reason we're making it 125 is because we made our tile list 500 pixels wide, and 500 divided by the 4 images is going to give us 125. So for the height, we just need to make it the same height as the object in the first place because we're only having 1 row. So we can say tile list dot row height, space equals space, and then 85. Semicolon. Now we need to basically say how many rows and columns we're going to have. So we're going to say tile list dot column count, and the count, the C on count is capital, space equals space, and then we're going to have 4 semicolon, and then I'm just going to copy that, paste it on the next line, and we need to say row count rather than column count there, and we need to have 1 row. So we're going to have 4 going up and down, and then 1 horizontally. So I'm just going to do control test movie so that you can see what we have so far. And as you can see here, I was how I was trying to tell you about the label. That's where it displays on the bottom, like third of the tile. It'll show a little overlay, and it'll put the label there. Then you can see each of the images in there. So what we're going to do next is have it so that when I click on any of these images, it's going to show an image up here within the UI loader. It's going to take the image, instead of scaling it super small, we're going to scale it to the size of that, and we're going to have it as a larger image, so we make it a little image gallery. So we're going to close that up, and the first thing we need to do is get the image. So we're going to say, we're going to start with some variables. So var space img URL colon, and then string with a capital S, space equals space, a couple of quotes, and a semicolon. Inside the quotes, we need to have the link of our first image. So basically, we're just going to have it display one image on screen before anybody clicks anything, so that there's something showing there, so that it kind of looks like a gallery. So I'm just going to grab that URL there because we already had it up there, and that's going to load that into image URL. So now we need to request that. So we're going to say var, we'll call it my request, colon, URL request. Okay, and then space equals space, new, I'm just going to copy this, new URL request, open parenthesis, and then we want it to be the URL right here, so it's going to be img URL that we already made, close parenthesis, semicolon. Now we need to make sure that the content is scaling within the loader so that we don't have it outrageously large, so we're going to say my loader dot scale content. And we want the C on content to be capital, space equals space, true. And then a semicolon. And then next we need to load in the stuff that we had from our variables so that it basically connects it to the loader. So we're going to say my loader dot load, open parenthesis, my request. And then close parenthesis, semicolon. Alright, so now what we need to do is set up an event listener so that whenever anybody clicks one of the items from our tile list, it's going to change the image that's within the UI loader. So I'm going to enter a couple times, and we're going to say tile list dot add event listener, and then open parenthesis, it's going to be an event dot change, and it's in all caps. And then we need a comma, and then we need to come up with a function name, and I'm just going to say photo select. That makes sense. And then a close parenthesis, semicolon. So now we need to write that function. So I'm going to say function. Oh my gosh, function. Alright, space. And then we need to say photo select. Space, open parenthesis, it's an event, colon, it's an event with a capital E. Close parenthesis, colon, void, open curly bracket, enter a couple times, close curly bracket, up arrow key. So now inside of this, we want to basically have all of this stuff. I'm just going to copy this and paste this. And the only thing that's going to change is where the image is coming from. So instead of getting the string from this one, we're going to change basically that line only. The rest of it should work as long as we still make it image. Actually, let's get that back, and we'll keep half of that. So we want variable image URL colon string equals. And then after the equals, we want to get the source of the selected item. So we're going to say tile list dot selected item, and the I on item is capital, and then dot source. Alright, and then a semicolon. So instead of having it pick that one, we're going to have it pick the source of the selected item. And as you can remember from up here, we have all these sources. So whenever it clicks one, it's going to say, oh, bam, they wanted the tiger source. So we're going to load that into the image URL. It's going to load that in. It's going to scale it, and then it's going to load it into the UI loader right here. So it's just basically going to get the source instead of from what we set it to, from whatever is clicked. So we're going to do control test movie and test this out. Alright, as you can see, it's showing the first one, so that's good. And then when we click on one, it's going to change. So you can see we can go through these and it'll scale them up depending on the original proportions. It'll change them a little bit. So you can see that that's working appropriately. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you learned a little bit about the tile list and also the UI loader. I'm still going to have a tutorial on that. It's actually the next tutorial. So don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment, and check back tomorrow for that UI loader component tutorial. Thanks.